I never felt unhappiness was a cause of my suicidal thoughts and attempts, but I was totally wrong. I tasted death in my birth, and it tasted better than life. So I was unhappy with life in my childhood and early teens, and killed myself over 2,000 times, but was sent back to fulfill my mission, meaning and purpose every time. Yeah, spooky. But knowing it helped me assist so many others by pumping their happiness up. It merits pride of place as the first of my quality hacks. I promised at the end of step 2 we'd commence pumping up your happiness here in step 3. The resource I've chosen for it is a book called The How of Happiness by Sonia Lyubomirsky. It was brought to my attention by my #1 coach, Brian Johnson, chief philosopher, the Entheos Academy of Optimum Living. It was like sports stadium floodlights had been switched on in my head. Suicide stopped being an option to me. I had meaning and purpose. I had a mission. I had a miracle. I'm going to start by reading you extracts of it. Well, quite a lot of it actually. All of us want to be happy, even if we don't admit it openly or choose to cloak our desire in different words. Whether our dreams are about professional success, spiritual fulfillment, a sense of connection, or purpose in life, or love or sex, we covet those things because ultimately we believe they will make us happier. Yet few of us truly appreciate just how much we can improve our happiness or know precisely how to go about doing it. To step back and consider your deep-seated assumptions about how to become a happier person and whether it's even possible for you, what I hope this book will spur you to do, is to understand that becoming happier is realizable, that it's in your power, and that it's one of the most vital and momentous things that you can do for yourself and for those around you. Why be happy? To some, across all the domains of life, happiness appears to have numerous positive byproducts that few of us have taken the time to really understand. In becoming happier, we not only boost experiences of joy, contentment, love, pride and awe, but also improve other aspects of our lives. Our energy levels, our immune systems, our engagement with work and with other people, and our physical and mental health. In becoming happier, we bolster as well our feelings of self-confidence and self-esteem. We come to believe that we are worthy human beings deserving of respect. A final and perhaps least appreciated plus is that we become happier. We benefit not only ourselves, but our partners, families, communities, and even society at large. Now then, Sonia Lyubomirsky talks here about a 40% solution. She reckons we only use 60% of our happiness quotient, and there's 40% sitting there doing bloody nothing, waiting for us to grab it. And this is what she says. In a nutshell, the fountain of happiness can be found in how you behave, what you think, and what goals you set every day of your life. There is no happiness without action. If feelings of passivity and futility overcome you whenever you face up to your happiness set point or to your circumstances, you must know that a genuine and abiding happiness is indeed within your reach. lying within the 40% of the happiness pie chart that's yours to guide. What makes up this 40%? Besides our genes and the situations that we confront, there is one critical thing left: our behaviour. Thus, the key to happiness lies not in changing our genetic makeup, which is impossible, and not in changing our circumstances, i.e. Seeking wealth or attractiveness or better colleagues, which is usually impracticable, but in our daily intentional activities. With this in mind, our pie chart illustrates the potential of the 40% that is within our ability to control, the 40% for room to maneuver, for opportunities to increase or decrease our happiness levels through what we do in our daily lives and how we think. She now looks at the work of happiness, and she says, it may be obvious that to achieve anything substantial in life, learn a profession, master a sport, raise a child, a good deal of effort is required. But many of us find it difficult to apply the notion of effort to our emotional and mental lives. Without effort, we might get lucky. But like a long forgotten New Year's resolution, the success will be short-lived. Consider how much more time and commitment many people devote to physical exercise, whether it's going to the gym, jogging, kickboxing or yoga. My research reveals that if you desire greater happiness, you need to go about it in a similar way. In other words, becoming lastingly happier demands making some permanent changes that require effort and commitment every day of your life. Pursuing happiness takes work, but consider that this happiness work may be the most rewarding work you'll ever do. Right? You know, look at some happiness activities that will pump the volume of your happiness up. Right? And part 1 of Liebermisky's book explains why we should be interested in being happy. And then part 2 sets out 12 acts that have been scientifically proven to increase our happiness levels. They are 1. Expressing gratitude. 2. Cultivating optimism. 3. Avoiding overthinking. 4. Practicing kindness. 5. Nurturing relationships. 6. Developing coping strategies. 7. Learning to forgive. 8. Increasing flow. 9. Savoring joy. 10. Committing to goals. 11. Practicing spirituality. And 12. Taking care of the body. Right? On to the exercises then. You need to choose 4 of these activities to exercise every day. It is important to choose activities that inspire you, as you're more likely to keep pumping up the volume each day until it becomes a habit. You should write down 5 examples of each activity each day. I will use one of my inspirational activities to show you how to do it. It is activity 1, expressing gratitude. Okay? Right? So this is example 1. I am grateful for my wife. Then example 1.2 becomes, I'm grateful for my daughter. Example 1.3 becomes, I'm grateful for my grandchildren. Example 1.4, I'm grateful for my dog. Lovely girl. And then example 1.5 is, I'm grateful for my life. Right? The thing is, people who are consistently grateful have been found to be relatively happier, more energetic and more hopeful, and to report experiencing more frequent positive emotions. They also tend to be more helpful and empathetic, more spiritual and religious, more forgiving and less materialistic than others who are less predisposed to gratefulness. Furthermore, the more a person is inclined to gratitude, the less likely he or she is to be depressed, anxious, lonely, envious, or neurotic. What a CV to go for a job with, eh? Ah, yes. There are barrier thoughts, and these also, she worries that there are some barriers that get in the way of or getting your happiness. And she says, write down your barrier thoughts. And then consider ways to reinterpret the situation. In the process, ask yourself questions like, what else could this situation or experience mean? Can anything good come from it? Does it present any opportunities for me? What lessons can I learn and apply to the future? Did I develop my strengths as a result? Essentially, all optimism strategies involve the exercise of construing the world with a more positive and charitable perspective, and many entail considering the silver lining in the cloud, identifying the door that opens as a result of one that has closed. It takes hard work and a great deal of practice to accomplish effectively. But if you can persist at these strategies until they become habitual, the benefits could be immense. Some optimists may be born that way, but scores of optimists are made with practice. She now looks at rumination and negative mood. This is toxicity. Yeah, I know all about this. Right, the combination of rumination and negative mood is toxic. Research shows that people who ruminate while sad or distraught are likely to feel besieged, powerless, self-critical, pessimistic, and generally negatively biased. You know, we're talking about the people who are locked up in financial problems. We're talking about the people here who are locked up in churning thoughts of suicide, right? But what she says is, I found that truly happy people have the capacity to distract and absorb themselves in activities that divert their energies and attentions away from dark and anxious ruminations, which is exactly what we are doing now. If you are someone plagued by ruminations, you are unlikely to become happier before you can break the habit. Now, this is another surprising little issue here about happiness, right? Exercise versus Zoloft. An impressive study of physical activity was published in the Archives of Internal Medicine in 1999. The researchers recruited men and women, 50 years old and over, all suffering from clinical depression, and divided them randomly into 3 groups. The first was assigned to 4 months of aerobic exercise, the second to 4 months of antidepressant medication, Zoloft, and the third to both. Remarkably, by the end of the 4 months, all 3 groups experienced their depressions lift and reported fewer dysfunctional attitudes and increased happiness and self-esteem. Exercise was just as effective at treating depression as Zoloft. Yet exercise is a lot less expensive, usually with no side effects apart from soreness. And more remarkably, 6 months later, participants who had recovered from their depression were less likely to relapse into depression if they had been in the exercise group than if they had been in the medication group. Now, this has a lot to do with overthinking. This is about social comparisons. Measuring yourself against other people all the time. And Sonia Libowiecki says, we found that the happiest people take pleasure in other people's success and show concern in the face of others' failures. A completely different portrait, however, has emerged of a typical unhappy person, namely as someone who is deflated rather than delighted when his peers' accomplishments and triumphs, and who is relieved rather than sympathetic in the face of his peers' failures and undoings. You can't be anxious and happy at the same time. People who pay too much attention to social comparisons find themselves chronically vulnerable, threatened, and insecure. The happier the person, the less attention she pays to how others feel about her. I'm getting close to the end now. Right? She finds happy people like projects. Yes, indeed. In 1932, she says, weighed down by the sorrows and agonies of his self-absorbed and aimless clients, an Australian psychiatrist named W. Berenworth summed up his philosophy like this: observe a happy man, building a boat, writing a symphony, educating his son, growing double dahlias in his garden, or looking for dinosaur eggs in the Gobi Desert. The point being here is that people who strive for something personally significant, whether it's learning a new craft, changing careers, or raising moral children, are far happier than those who don't have strong dreams. Find a happy person, and you will find a project. Now finally, this is one of the best ways of really punching your happiness levels up. There are ways to practice optimism, but the one that has been empirically shown to enhance well-being is the original best possible self-diary method. To try it out, sit in a quiet place and take 20 minutes to think about what you expect your life to be 1, 5 or 10 years from now. Visualize a future for yourself in which everything has turned out the way you would have wanted. You have tried your best, worked hard and achieved all your goals. Now write down what you imagine. This writing exercise, in a sense, puts your optimistic muscles into practice. Even if thinking about the brightest future for yourself doesn't come naturally at first, it may get there with time and training. Amazing things can come about as a result of writing. We'll be going back to that philosophy a couple of times yet in the course of our steps to suicide avoidance and prevention. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.